They say every city has a heartbeat, but on cold nights like this, it almost feels like it's dying among the thousands walking the streets. One boy had learned how to disappear. His name was Ethan. 14, thin as a shadow, his brown hair matted from rain, and his shoes worn enough to talk when he walked. Ethan curled under a broken bridge, wrapped in old newspapers. A stray cat purrs beside him. He had a small backpack. Inside it, a few crumbs of bread, a cracked flashlight, and one photograph. A woman, smiling, holding a baby, his mother. Ethan looks at the photo, rubbing his thumb across her face. Ethan whispering, "Mom, are you still out there?" Rain grows louder. No answer. Just the echo of passing footsteps and the hiss of a bus. He asked the same question every night, and every night the city stayed silent. He hadn't seen his mother in 5 years. He'd lost his home after she vanished, taken in briefly by strangers, then left to fend for himself. But Ethan had something the world didn't take. Hope, a small, quiet, stubborn kind of hope. He pets the cat gently. Ethan, smiling faintly, "Lucky. Looks like it's just you and me tonight." The cat meows softly. Ethan laughs weakly. He called the cat Lucky because he thought if one of them was lucky, maybe it would rub off on the other. He didn't know it yet, but fate had already started writing a new story, one even the rain couldn't wash away. The next evening, streets wet from the rain. Ethan searches for food behind a diner, shivering. The next night, hunger gnawed at him like an old enemy. He rummaged through trash cans behind a diner, hoping for leftovers someone forgot to finish. He finds a half-eaten sandwich. He smiles faintly, about to eat. Then a voice. "Please, someone help me." Ethan freezes. Turns. The camera pans toward an old man standing near the crosswalk, tapping a white cane. He's disoriented, stepping too close to the road. Across the street, an old man was trying to cross. Blind, frail, the wind tugging at his thin coat. His cane slipped on the wet ground. A car honked loudly. The man stumbles forward. Headlights flash, tires screech. And that's when Ethan ran. Sound. Running footsteps, rain splashing, a horn blaring as he dives forward. He grabbed the man's arm, pulling him back just as a truck thundered past. The wind nearly knocked them both down. Silence. Heavy breathing. Then, the faint sound of the old man crying softly. Old man, shaking voice, "Thank you, son. I could have died dead." Ethan, panting, "It's okay, sir. You're safe now. Just breathe." Ethan kneels beside him, brushing mud off his coat. Up close, Ethan saw the man's eyes, cloudy white, lost in permanent night. He looked exhausted, fragile, and forgotten. The old man coughs. Ethan, softly, "Are you hurt, sir?" Old man, just cold. My legs don't listen to me much these days." Ethan helps him sit on the curb. Two strangers, one blind, one homeless, now sitting side by side on the same soaked street, both unseen by the world, both holding on to life with trembling fingers. Ethan takes off his old scarf and wraps it around the man's neck. "Thinner. It's not much, but it'll keep you warm." Old man, touching the scarf. "Emotional, you shouldn't give away what little you have." Ethan shrugs, "Guess I'm used to losing things." A sad smile passes between them. And that small act of kindness, that single spark of compassion, was about to change both their lives forever. Later that night, both sit near a small alley fire made from cardboard scraps. Ethan and the old man sat under the faint glow of fire. The old man's name was Mr. Williams. He had once been a teacher, until his sight began to fade. Then came the accident, the hospital bills, the eviction, and finally, the loneliness. Ethan passes him half a bread roll. "Ethan, you can have the bigger half." Mr. Williams, smiling, "A true gentleman." "I see." Ethan, grinning, "Nah. Just don't want you to die before we finish the bread." They laugh. The sound echoes through the alley. A rare, beautiful moment of joy. It had been years since either of them laughed like that. It was the kind of laughter that reminded you you're still human. Mr. Williams coughs, holding his chest. "Ethan, concerned you okay, sir?" Williams. "Just the cold. I used to hate winter. But now, it feels like an old friend that never stops visiting." Ethan nods quietly. "Ethan, where do you live?" Williams, after a pause. Nowhere. My house is gone. My son was supposed to find me, but he never came back. Did Ethan? Your son didn't come for you. Williams, no. Maybe life swallowed him. 2.2 souls. Both lost, both unwanted. Sat under the same broken sky. And for the first time in years. Ethan smiled. Ethan. Softly. Then I guess we're both homeless. Sirmr. Williams. Seems so. What's your name, son? Ethan. Ethan Dar. Williams, smiling warmly. Ethan. I think fate had a reason for us meeting tonight. And maybe he was right. Because destiny doesn't always knock on doors. Sometimes, it sits beside you in the cold, and calls you son. Days turned into weeks, and what began as one night of kindness became a fragile rhythm of survival, shared between two souls forgotten by the world. Montage. Ethan helping Mr. Williams walk with his cane, feeding him bread, both sharing laughter. Ethan became Mr. Williams's eyes. Every morning, he described the world to him. The color of the sunrise, the smell of coffee from street vendors, even the way the pigeons fought over crumbs. Ethan. Cheerfully. There's a big dog sniffing your shoe, sir. You might lose a toe today. Mr. Williams. Grinning. Tell him it's an old shoe. No flavor left. They both laugh. The city hums around them, laughter echoing between passing cars. Sometimes they begged together. Sometimes they just sat in silence, listening to the city breathe. And every night, Ethan made sure Mr. Williams had the blanket, even if it meant freezing himself. Camera pans. Ethan shivering, covering the old man. Williams, noticing Ethan. You're shaking. Ethan, forcing a smile. I'm fine, sir. I'm used to the cold. Mr. Williams reaches for his hand, holds it tightly. Williams. Softly. No one should ever get used to the cold, son. Long pause. The word son lingers in the air. That one word pierced through Ethan's heart, both comforting and painful. He didn't know why, but hearing it felt like home. That night, under the hum of the bridge, Ethan whispered into the dark. Ethan, softly, almost praying, if I ever get a family again, God, please let it be someone like him. Nighttime. Rain again. Ethan and Mr. Williams huddle under cardboard sheets. The rain drips through. The rain returned, as if the heavens never ran out of tears. Mr. Williams coughed harder that night. His voice cracked between breaths. Ethan, worried, sir, you need medicine. Mr. Williams, weakly smiling. Medicine costs money, Ethan. And last I checked, laughter was still free. Ethan, half laughs, half cries. Then I'll make you laugh till you're healthy again. They both laugh, the laughter weak but real. Then silence. But as the laughter faded, the old man grew quiet, staring into the endless dark behind his blind eyes. Mr. Williams, softly, you know, I cry at night sometimes. Ethan, gentle, I've noticed. Why, sir? The old man hesitates. His fingers tighten on his cane. Williams, shaking voice, I lost my son. 10 years ago. He was 4. We went to the park that day, and he ran off to chase a balloon. Someone took him. I heard his scream, and that was the last time I heard my boy's voice. Ethan freezes. His eyes widen. The words hit Ethan like thunder. Something inside him trembled, like a memory trying to wake up. Mr. Williams, voice trembling. His name was Ethan. Ethan Williams. My wife, Mary, never recovered. She searched every day until her heart gave up. I lost her 2 years later. After that, the world went dark, literally. I lost my sight in an accident. Ethan's breathing quickens. He looks down, his hands shaking. Ethan whispering. Ethan Williams. The old man nods, wiping tears. The rain outside roared louder. But inside, time stood still. Ethan couldn't breathe. He didn't know whether to speak or stay silent. He wanted to say, "That's my name." But fear held his tongue. What if it wasn't true? What if it broke the fragile hope they'd built? Ethan looks at him, teary-eyed. Ethan, sir. Maybe your son's still alive somewhere. Mr. Williams, smiling sadly. If he is, I hope he grew up to be kind, like you. 3 nights later. Ethan is sick. Feverish, coughing violently. Mr. Williams sits beside him, holding his hand. 3 nights passed. And on the 4th, Ethan's body gave up before his spirit did. Amar Williams could barely see, but his hands searched the boy's forehead, trembling with fear. Amar Williams, desperate. Ethan, stay with me, please. Don't leave me too. Ethan's breathing is faint. He reaches weakly for his backpack. Ethan, hoarse voice, sir. In my bag, there's a photo. He hands it to Mr. Williams. The old man feels the edges carefully. Paper thin, wrinkled, weathered. He couldn't see the picture, but his fingers traced the shape of a woman's face, her soft curls, her gentle smile. Then he froze. Music slows, heartbeat sound begins. Williams, whispers Mary. Tears fall instantly. He clutches the photo to his chest. Ethan, weakly, that's my mom. She told me my dad died before I was born. Mr. Williams starts shaking violently, gripping Ethan's hands. Williams, trembling, what did you say her name was? Ethan, Mary. Mary Williams. The old man drops the cane, voice breaking into sobs. Williams, no. No. This can't be. Mary Williams was my wife. Ethan stares at him. Confusion, disbelief, fear all flood his face. Ethan, wait. What? Williams, sobbing, feeling his face. My boy's name was Ethan. He had this scar, right here, touches Ethan's eyebrow. He fell off a swing chasing a blue balloon. Ethan's lips tremble. He starts crying uncontrollably. Ethan, voice breaking, that happened to me. I still remember. The balloon, and Mom screaming my name. Both break down. The rain outside suddenly quiets, like the world is listening. Williams, shaking, no. It can't be. Ethan. Is your name Ethan Williams? Ethan, sobbing, yes. But I never knew my father's name. Mom said you were gone. Mr. Williams grabs him, pulling him close, crying into his shoulder. Williams, voice breaking, son. I'm your father, and just like that, the boy who saved a stranger from death had saved his own father, without even knowing. Ethan clings to him, crying loudly. Ethan, Dad. Is it really you? Williams, yes, my boy. It's me. I never stopped looking for you. Not for a single day. They cry together, rain washing over their faces. The world stood still that night. A father found his lost son, a son found his home in his father's arms, and the bridge that once sheltered sorrow, now sheltered a miracle. The city didn't stop moving. Cars still honked, people still hurried past, and life still ran its endless race. But beneath that noise, 2 hearts had just found each other again, a father and son, reunited not by blood tests or luck, but by love, loss, and grace. Ethan sat by the bedside, holding Mr. Williams' trembling hand. The old man's eyes were still wrapped in white gauze, but his smile glowed like morning light at Ethan, smiling weakly. You're gonna see again, Dad. The doctors said it's possible. Williams chuckles softly. I don't need eyes to see you, son. Already do. Every time I hold your hand, I see everything I ever lost. Ethan laughs through tears. He had forgotten what laughter felt like, the kind that came from the soul. They had nothing, no fancy clothes, no money, no comfort, but in that small room, they had everything the world ever promised and failed to give. A second chance, days turned into weeks. Ethan stayed by his father's side, helping him eat, reading him old newspapers, telling him stories about the streets, the people, the struggles. The tiny moments of kindness that kept him alive. Sometimes they laughed till their stomachs hurt. Sometimes they sat in silence, holding hands, both afraid to blink, afraid to lose each other again. Ethan pushing his father's wheelchair through hospital corridors, feeding him soup, playing with a nurse's cat, dozing off together. Love, when it finally found them, didn't come wrapped in perfection. It came in broken pieces. Stitched together by hope, the day came. The day everyone in the hospital waited for. The surgeons had performed the operation. Williams would finally know if the world he had lost in darkness would return, and if he could truly see the face of the boy who saved him. The doctor enters, smiles softly. Doctor, "Mr. Williams, it's time to remove the bandages." Ethan holds his breath. The room goes silent except for the faint ticking of the clock. Layer by layer, the white gauze is unwound. The light stings, the old man blinks once, twice, then a tear rolls down Amar. Williams, whispering, "Ethan, is that you?" Ethan, voice trembling, "Yes, Dad. It's me." The old man's vision clears. The world bursts into color. He sees Ethan's face for the first time. Tired, thin, but radiant with youth and love. Williams, sobbing, "You look just like your mother." The same eyes, the same smile. Ethan's tears fall freely. He laughs while crying, and they embrace. A long, trembling hug that feels like it's healing every wound the years ever caused. That hug, that single moment, felt like the sun rising after 10 years of night. In the hallway, nurses wiped their eyes. Even the doctor had to step away. It wasn't just the story of a blind man seeing again. It was a story of two lost souls who found each other, and in doing so, helped the world see what love really means. Father and son laughing as they eat ice cream for the first time, taking bus rides together. Mr. Williams teaching Ethan how to read properly. Ethan showing his father where he used to sleep under the bridge. Williams, "You see that bridge, son? That's where we'll build something new. Something for others like us." Ethan nods, eyes shining with purpose. Months passed. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. Bills came, challenges came. But they had each other now, and that made every sunrise worth it. With the help of the local pastor and the donations that poured in, Ethan and his father founded a small foundation. They called it Hope Under the Bridge. The same bridge where Ethan once slept is now alive with life. Volunteers serving food, kids laughing, old people smiling. Ethan to a small boy, "Hey there, kid. You hungry? Here, have this." Boy smiles shyly, "Thank you, mister." Ethan pats his head, then looks at his father standing proudly nearby. Eyes clear, face glowing with peace. Williams, "Every person we feed, son, feels like healing another piece of my heart." Ethan, smiling, "And every night when I look at this bridge, I remember what you said. Love never gets lost. It just finds its way home." They smile. The city lights flicker in the distance. People passing, laughter in the air. Hope restored. In a world that forgets too easily. Two people remembered what truly matters. A blind man found his sight, a homeless boy found his father, and together, they gave others a reason to believe again. Ethan, voiceover, "Maybe miracles don't happen in churches or hospitals. Maybe they happen right where we least expect. Under a bridge, between two hearts that refuse to give up." And that's how love, the kind that survives hunger, pain, and time, wrote its name beneath the bridge where hope was born again. Time has a strange way of healing. Quietly, gently, and without asking for permission, seasons changed. Years passed. The bridge that once hid broken dreams was now a place where dreams began again. A clean space filled with bright tents, tables, and people laughing. A large sign reads, "Hope Under the Bridge Foundation." What was once a shelter for despair had become a home for hope. And at the heart of it all, stood Ethan Williams. Ethan, now in his mid-20s, walks through the crowd with a clipboard, greeting volunteers. Volunteer, smiling, "Mr. Williams, the food truck's here." Ethan laughs, perfect timing, the kids are already lining up. He turns to a small group of homeless teens and hands them meals. "Ethan, eat well, okay? And don't forget to smile. It makes the food taste better." They laugh. Ethan's laughter fills the air, real, deep, and joyful. Ethan had grown into the kind of man his younger self could only dream of becoming. He still carried scars, but they were no longer reminders of pain. They were proof of survival. Mr. Williams, now older but strong, wearing dark glasses and guiding a little blind girl by the hand. Williams, gently. "Slowly now, sweetie. One step at a time. You're safe." The girl giggles and hugs him. Mr. Williams had become a father to many who never knew one, though his eyesight never fully returned. His vision of love was clearer than ever. Inside their small community center, Ethan and Mr. Williams prepare dinner for everyone. Ethan, joking, "Dad, I think you put sugar instead of salt again." Williams, grinning. Well, maybe these kids need some sweetness in their lives. Everyone laughs. A little boy throws his arms around Mr. Williams. Boy. You're funny, Grandpa. There was laughter again. Loud, messy, contagious laughter. The kind that fills empty stomachs and lonely hearts. The volunteers dancing to music while serving food. Kids drawing pictures of Mr. Ethan and Grandpa Williams. A teenager painting a mural of the bridge with the words, "Love never gets lost." Love had rewritten every story that began with pain. A large auditorium, lights shining. Ethan and Mr. Williams stand on stage, both dressed neatly. Presenter into microphone. Tonight we honor hope under the bridge, for changing thousands of lives and reminding us all that kindness can rise from the darkest corners. Crowd claps. Ethan looks at his father, tears in his eyes. Ethan into mic, I used to sleep under a bridge, and now I'm standing here with my father, the man I found under that same bridge. If you're out there and feel forgotten, please remember, you're just one act of kindness away from finding your miracle. Standing ovation. Mr. Williams wipes a tear, then whispers to Ethan, Williams, your mother would be so proud of you. Ethan smiles, looking up. Ethan, I think she's watching us right now. Years later, the bridge stood stronger than ever. It had seen countless faces, countless tears, but also countless smiles. Mr. Williams sitting on a bench, holding Ethan's baby son in his lap. Ethan's wife sits nearby, laughing with volunteers. Williams to the baby. You see this bridge, little one? This is where your father found me, and where I found hope again. Ethan walks up and sits beside him. Ethan, smiling softly. Funny how life works, huh? The same bridge that broke us, built us. They watch the sunset together, golden light reflecting off the river. They say time heals all wounds. But love does something greater. Love turns scars into stories, and pain into purpose. Up to the glowing sign, hope under the bridge. Laughter echoes, kids play, city lights shimmer. Some bridges carry cars. Others carry hearts. And under this one a boy once found his father, and together they built a forever. If this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Hit that like button, share this story with someone who needs a little hope tonight, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments below, because kindness travels farther than you think. You've been watching Mafia Hearts, where stories aren't just told, they're felt. Because somewhere out there under a forgotten bridge or behind a closed door, another miracle is waiting to happen, and maybe your heart will be the bridge that leads someone home.